Hey, welcome into the Big Ten Huddle. I'm your host, JR, and I'm here to talk to you about all the things going on in the Big Ten. Today, I have with me Chris Wilds, the Wild Man, as they call him on the OHIO pod, and then we also have Jordan Monk from the TurtleHeads pod. Listen, this is going to be a great episode. We got a lot going on. We got a lot of craziness to get to with this week, and I got two of the craziest guys in the Big Banter Sports Network. Before we really get into it, I'm going to let them both tell you where you can find their podcast. Jordan, why don't you start us off?
Absolutely. If you hear this in the background, it's because I got two and I got one more on the way, so it's chaos in the house right now. But I am Jordan Monk. I'm with the TurtleHeads. You can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and of course on X. You find us on Instagram and all the good stuff. So check us out, Turtlehead Talk.
There you go. All right, Chris, you want to let people know where to find you?
Yeah, I'm Chris, the Wild Man Wilds. I am from the OHIO, and I did say the OHIO podcast. Don't leave that out. And we are on YouTube. We are on Facebook. We are on Spotify. We are everywhere. Why? Because we are the best Big Ten podcast there is.
How many testes do you have there, Wild Man?
Down.
How many testes do you have?
But two like every other guy.
I'm hearing crickets.
Two like every other guy.
Zero testing. There's only one Big Banner podcast that has won an award so far. That is the Turtleheads. They are the owner of the testes. And we will have a pair of nuts, Buckeye nuts, on our shelf here this weekend.
Oh, look at the Turtlehead poking out.
All right. So you guys got a bet going on is what you're saying?
Oh, there's a bet.
Yeah,
there's a bet.
Fill us in, Chris. What's the bet?
Go ahead. Who wants to say?
You know, there's been a little thing where these guys in Maryland like to make themselves out to be just a little bit better than they really are. They keep putting themselves atop the Big Ten power rankings for Big Banner when we do our podcast votes. So after we humiliate them this Saturday, they are not allowed to rank themselves above the Buckeyes the rest of the season, no matter how the season ends.
Wow.
Hey, JR, do me a favor, JR. Can you name three teams? Chris already knows this answer, so he can't answer it. Three teams who have won all their games by 18 points or more. And I got news for you. It ain't the Ohio State University.
No, I know it's not Ohio
Michigan,
State.
Michigan, Washington, and who's the third?
It's Maryland, right?
Exactly.
Well,
exactly.
You know that's 100% true, and I guess maybe if Ohio State played against four high schools and a convent, we could probably make that same claim to fame.
And it's still a tougher schedule than Iowa. What's up with that?
I can't argue with you there. You know, your schedule's almost as soft as that team up north, but not quite as soft as Iowa.
Well, that was going to be my next question, Chris, is who has a softer schedule, Michigan or Maryland?
Oh, man, that's a tough one. That is tough. You know, looking right now, Maryland has the 116th ranked strength of schedule in all of college football. 116.
Out of how many?
130.
All right. So we're not in the bottom.
14 away.
We're in the top. We're in the top 116.
And those 5 wins, just so you know, came against schools with a combined 7-18 record, with only 3 wins against FBS opponents. I'm telling you, it's like their average rank of their opponents this year is 99th overall.
When's the last time anything from the state of Indiana was relevant? Y'all brag over that Notre Dame win. You beat them with 10 guys on the field.
But we beat him.
Guy was the Holy Ghost, and he didn't pull his weight.
It just proves God's a Buckeyes fan. That's all.
All right, well, let's get into the game breakdown here. But before we do that, please remember that this Big Ten Huddle, this is where you find all your Big Ten coverage at. Okay, I wanted to say this before we get started because I know Chris and Jordan here are going to agree with me here. All right, you don't want to listen to all these national broadcast shows. Okay? I was just listening to national broadcast shows today. No mention of Ohio State versus Maryland at all. You believe that, Jordan? No mention. This is one of the only undefeated matchups in all of college football. There's 3 of them. There are 3 undefeated matchups. No mention of Ohio State, Maryland at all in any of the national shows that I listen to. I won't stand for it. I don't think it's right. And if you are a fan of a Big Ten team, get away from those national shows. They aren't doing you any favors. It's all Big Ten all the time here, all the teams, all the fans. This is where you need to be. So I just say that.
JR, and to piggy that, because you're exactly right. Even the Fox commercials, the undefeated, the Ohio State University is playing Maryland. Nobody's giving Maryland no love. And I get it. We haven't earned the respect, but we will earn it on Saturday. Chris, will you give us respect if we were to lose the game, but let's say we lose by 7 or 3? Will you then respect us?
I would say, yeah, you would get some respect if you keep this game close. I would agree to that. But you know what?
That's what I'm saying.
In all defense, Jordan, now before things get crazy, in all defense, have we not given Maryland, and specifically Talia, due respect? Have you not heard us give him the respect he deserves?
No,
we actually came out and said
that
that coming into this season, we thought Talia Tagovailoa was the best returning quarterback in the conference.
Better than JJ?
And when we had our
better than JJ
100%.
by far. JJ is a joke.
Okay.
He is a joke. He is a product of basically one of our defensive backs falling on his backside twice is the only reason JJ McCarthy's even got a name right now.
Gotcha. And Bowling Green, that's another reason he has a name.
Yeah, because he threw 3 interceptions against him.
I guess everybody has bad days.
We all know Ohio State and Maryland combined.
But we will say we all know JJ is better than Kyle McCord.
Oh, please.
You want to go over those stats? Right. Chris, we've already gone over those stats. You want to go over those stats again? For the people?
Well, sure, we can absolutely revisit those stats for the people who don't understand that Kyle McCord has only played 3.5 games to Talia's 5. Absolutely. Let's revisit those stats, Gordon.
Take Talia's worst 3 games and are still better than Kyle's 3 games. What's up with that?
You know what? All that matters is the fact that, we've got the wins over better teams. The average rank of our opponents is 49th in the country.
We're still going over this.
99th.
So let's find out at the end of the season. At the end of the season, when all the records are over with,
we don't even have to wait till the end of the season, because after we drop you by 14 on 14, 17, whatever we do on Saturday, that's all it's going to take.
JR, you didn't even need to come. JR, you can go ahead in bed, son. You just let me and Chris box it out. That's all.
I don't even know if you guys need a host. You guys can just go the entire podcast talking about this game, I think. All right, well, let's start here. You guys tell me, go find your positions for your teams that you think are the keys. Stay away from quarterbacks. I think we had that discussion. Tell me the keys for your team at which position group they need to play well at to win this game. Chris, I'll let you go first.
Well, I'll tell you, I'm old school, so for me, it comes down to the trenches. Whoever wins the battle in the trenches is the team's going to win this game. Offensive and defensive line. Our offensive line has really come a long way since the start of the season. They're really starting to gel. Defensive line, I'm not going to lie. Our defensive line has lacked production out of the defensive end. 2 5-star guys on the end who haven't gotten home. But overall, they've been solid in the run game. First of all, Talia has not faced a defensive back group like this all season long. Our defensive backs are all over the place. And you know what? All we're going to do is have to hit him one time really good, and he's going to be seeing cross-eyed just like Big Brother.
All right. You care to counter with your key position groups there, Jordan?
I think Chris has been around Purdue and Indiana too long. That was a very proper, boring answer. Oh, that's going to be fault in the trench. Come on. You know where it's going to be fault. It's going to be fault trying to stop Maryland's run. So you got part of the trenches right. We're going to run it all day long. And then We have the three best running backs. As I'm not saying not individually. Our running back core. Oh, here we go. Here's a future Turtlehead. There he is.
Don't put that evil on him. He looks like a good kid.
Look at that. Look. He's been
He
raised
looks like
right.
a good kid. Don't
Right,
put that
let's
evil
see.
on him.
So look, comes in and he knows his line, walks right in, drops his line. But look, we have the best running back core in the Big Ten. That's not even up for discussion. That's not even up for
It's
discussion.
not even in the top 4.
Hey, hold on. Does Michigan single-handedly have the best? Do we agree they have the best running back or no? Are we going to disagree there? Because we can't agree on facts.
You know
we
what?
can't agree on
I
anything.
would say yes. I would say we'd have to agree with that.
All right, they have the best running back. Now, who
The best
has a
single
better
back,
core?
yes.
Yes, who has the best core? No one's put up numbers like
Our
McDonald, Littleton,
fifth
and
guy
Henry.
our fifth guy off the bench had 500 yards rushing last year.
But I'm talking about this year, Chris. You want to go in the past? What's his name? Ravens beat up on him all the time. Ohio State, great. What's his name? Running back. Help me out.
He plays
He
for
played
the
for the
Ravens?
Titans.
Robbins.
No, he played for the Titans.
Oh, Eddie George?
Eddie George?
Yeah, we're going to go back and start talking to.
No, because you guys
We're
wouldn't
talking
know what a
about this
Heisman looks
year.
like.
That's all he's got to claim fame because he ain't got no Super Bowl. Another trash player. The best thing that ever came out of Ohio State was Troy Smith because he was on the Ravens for a little while before Joe Flacco took over that. But actually, I'll take that back. C.J. Stroud is looking pretty good. I got to give you credit there. He might be the first great player to ever come from Ohio State.
Great quarterback.
Because we've only
or
had
great
what
player?
the last 3 of the last 4 defensive rookies of the year.
Ain't nobody got time for that. Anyway, by the way.
I know it's those
By the way.
daggone facts. They get in the way of life so easily.
Yes, always ask Indiana and Purdue. You facts says we change the subject. We ain't got time for facts. But anyway, back to present day. Present day, which Big Ten team has a better running back room than Maryland? Facts. You want facts? There's facts.
Right now, I'm
Jay,
going to tell you,
I see
Ohio
you shaking
State's
your
got a
head.
better
Jay,
running back room. They
oh
got by
my
far more
gosh.
talent in the running back room than what Maryland has. Honestly,
No, we're not going by count. We're going by
Wisconsin
stats.
has more
Stats.
talent. And Wisconsin has more talent in the running back room than Maryland. By
Back to the original
far.
question.
It's not even
Back to
close.
the original question.
So wait, we're going by stats alone, is what you're saying there, Jordan?
JR, don't embarrass me.
No, I'm genuinely asking. I'm looking it up right now.
All right, you look
Stats
that up. I'm going
alone.
to answer your original question. Stats.
Okay,
Oh,
go
do you
ahead.
have it already?
Well, I'm
Do you
looking
have the
right now.
stats? Are
You
you
go
ready?
ahead.
Okay,
You go
yeah.
ahead.
All right. In all honesty, and me and Chris and Eric talked about this on the podcast the other day. You can find that on Twitter, Instagram, Spotify, Apple. I plugged it again. But we talked about this the other day.
YouTube.
I think it's our secondary. They disagreed with me on shutting Marvin Harrison down because they're saying their wide receiver core is far superior than any other team in the Big Ten. I'm not going to take that away from you because I can agree with facts. But I think it's our secondary. We have been playing our balls off in the secondary the first 5 weeks of the season. I think we can all agree on that. A lot of picks.
Charlotte
Granted,
scored 20 points.
Chris, I was about to say that. Granted, have we played powerhouses? No, we haven't. But what I'm saying is Michigan State and Indiana, yes, they're terrible. But if you put a team on the schedule, you have to beat them. Yes or no?
Agreed.
They're on
Agreed.
the schedule. We won the game. And look, we all agree with this. This is the best Maryland teams to 14 in the Big Ten. And, well, it's the best Maryland team since, 2001. But talent alone, we have finally – I'm not saying we're even with Ohio State, Michigan, but the gap is closing and closing.
I will give you this, Jordan. Okay, I just saw this. All right. Antoine Littleton, Colby McDonald, Roman Hemby, all of them have more rushing yards this season than one of the best running backs in the Big Ten. He beat Ohio State last year, ran all over him. Donovan Edwards. So
Donovan Edwards was a product of the injury, though, to Blake Corum.
And more touchdowns as well. So
have I put up facts? Have I put up facts there, JR?
I don't see another team that has more than 3 running backs over 160 yards. Closest would probably be Purdue.
And we
with
know
Tracy and Mockabee.
They don't count.
Sorry.
Hey, by the way,
closest is Rutgers.
Do a advertisement. Purdue has put 27 astronauts in space. Don't forget that. Oh,
Yes.
Another turtlehead. You leaving?
Yeah.
See ya. That's my niece. Turtleheads just keep coming to this door.
Well, they hear the good talk. They hear the good banter. They want to come join in.
So, Chris, now that JR provided facts.
I still think talent-wise, they're at best fourth in the Big Ten.
And you're probably right, Chris. You're probably exactly right.
Because when they come up against real teams, you're going to see those numbers drastically decrease.
And you could be right, but I'm never going to
argue. There is no
you don't have.
I am right.
No, there is never a doubt in my mind that Ohio State has more talent than Maryland, because look what you have more 5-stars that never touched had in their whole recruiting history. But that's okay.
I was wrong.
Because
I was wrong.
Oh,
Penn State.
Oh no, JR.
Oh yeah, I was saying Penn State had to be up there.
What's Penn State got? Better than us?
Well, so their third running back has 166 yards. Your third running back, Antoine Littleton, has 164. But I will say your number one running back,
how many touchdowns
has 2 more yards than Katron Allen. Touchdowns. Math. Let's see. That's 7. Penn State has 2. 2. 6. Yeah, Penn State's got you. Just because of Nicholas Singleton having 6 touchdowns. That's ridiculous. Yeah. But, I mean, they're all in the middle. I would say you guys are pretty even with Penn State. So at the very least, you're tied.
And we'll take first place over after this Saturday.
Okay.
Huh. They'll be lucky to get 100 yards on the ground this weekend.
Are you willing to bet on that, Chris?
What's that?
Are you willing to bet on that?
You know what? I'm not a betting man.
Okay.
But I would take that one.
Okay. All right. You guys
speaking of betting, JR.
Okay.
No, speaking of betting, JR, do you see us covering?
Yeah. Yeah, I have you guys.
Well, at 19.5, yeah, I would bet.
I don't bet often, but if I was going to bet on this game, I'd probably bet a good amount of money on the under or the cover for Maryland.
All right, Chris.
And I even told you yesterday, Jordan, I think it's a 14 to 17 point spread, which is under the 19.5. So
and
I think they cover.
Watching, I forgot about last year's end of the game play where Talia, I don't know, almost got sacked, threw it up, intercepted for a pick 6, like on the 3-yard line. So we were that close to losing by 6 last year. So I'm saying, man, I've said it from the beginning. I think all of the top 3 teams, Michigan, Ohio State, Penn State, are great. Ohio State is the lowest hanging fruit for Maryland to grab.
Many computers would agree with you on that.
Let me throw a few things out there for you, though, Jordan, if I may. So, this weekend, we got you coming to our house where, well, let's face it, we own you in our house. You can't deny it.
I'm not going to disagree on that. That's fact.
Okay. Ohio State is coming in, and they are 8-0 all-time versus Maryland with an average score of 57-23. It's homecoming weekend. Ryan Day has lost 1 homecoming game since becoming the head coach, and that was to number 12 Oregon. Maryland is not number 12 Oregon from that year. It's Hall of Fame weekend. Ohio State is 11-3 on Big Noon kickoffs. 2 of those losses came to that team up north. Guess what? You guys are not that team up north. Ryan Day is 10-0 in the regular season when he's had more than 1 week to prepare. We're coming off a bye week. And Ryan Day, at 49-6, 17-6 against top 25 opponents, of which Maryland is not. 32-0 against unranked opponents, which, well, Maryland is. And, you may say, like a lot of people will, that yes, Chris, you are Ryan Day's biggest critic, and that's true. But I've gone on record as saying Ryan Day chokes in the big ones. Guys, this is not a big one. This is Maryland.
All right, now that you got that out of the way, let me just break this down for you. Since 2014, this will probably answer a lot of questions, because what we've all said, all the Turtleheads, is we have to keep this game close at the beginning. We cannot let Ohio State start off, score 7 quick ones, turn the ball over, or get down 14-0 real quick, because, like you said, They're not Charlotte. They're not Virginia. You can't get down 14-0 to this team and expect to win. But all those scores, all those average scores since 2014, C.J. Brown, Perry Hills, Caleb Rowe, Terrell Pigram, Kasim Hill.
Piggy.
Hold on, we're not done. Tyler DeSuze. I mean, we're done. Do any of those names even strike even anything to you? If that was the quarterbacks Maryland rolled out since 2014, Tilia is by far the most talented quarterback since Maryland's been in Big Ten. Some would say since Sean Hill. And that's why I think Ohio State, yeah, have the right to be cocky. They have the history to be cocky. But to sit here and say you're not a little nervous is a total bull-faced lie. And it's not just you, Chris, or Eric. It's everything. National media, Ohio State podcasts all across. Nobody is taking this game serious, which is good for Maryland. I'm actually thankful we're not ranked. I am thanking the good Lord we're not ranked because I just want Ohio State to oversee it. Because Chris already said on the podcast a couple of days ago, Purdue gives them fits every year. So maybe they're looking ahead to Purdue saying, hey, we're not going to do it this year. Maybe we just sneak in.
Maybe Maryland is the new Purdue.
No, don't you ever say that again, JR.
Maryland is not the new Purdue. They are simply a poor man's Duke.
No, don't say it. Don't say it. No. We're about to wrap it up. Purdue and Duke, the two worst things you could have said.
Let's wrap up at least this conversation. We got other games to get to here. So, Jordan, we'll let you go first. Score prediction. What is it?
What did I say the other day, Chris? I can't remember.
I can't recall. You had it close. You had it close. I think you had it like somewhere in the area like.
We got TurtleHeads coming from everywhere, man. This is amazing. They never come in the studio until tonight. They heard you, Chris. They wanted to see you. They heard the legend. They just needed to see it for the facts.
Hey,
but I'm terrible at predicting scores. I'm awful at predicting scores. I'll go Maryland 33, Ohio State 28. How's that sound?
I'll take it. Chris, what's yours?
Like you've been drinking the adult beverages is what that sounds like, my man. All right, for me, I got to go 38-24, Ohio State. We don't cover, sadly, because, well, Ryan Day doesn't have a history of covering, especially on those big spreads. But you know what? He does have a history of beating up on unranked teams. So 38-24, Ohio State.
Wow. All right, so neither of you have Ohio State covering. That's interesting. I agree. I don't have them covering either. Great discussion, guys. We'll move on to our next game here. We will get to Illinois versus who is it? Illinois at Nebraska, or Nebraska at Illinois. This game you guys might not know as much about, but it's on Friday night at 8 o'clock. This is on Fox Sports 1, so FS1. Illinois is favored by 3.5. Interesting one here. You guys have any thoughts on this game? Jordan, let's let you go first.
Ugh. What a terrible game. These Friday night games have sucked, which we talked about the other day. The bottom of the Big Ten, bad. But Illinois, for some reason, scares me. When we play them October 14th, for some reason, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's their head coach. We never play them good. Friday night, big lights. Nebraska sucks. Sims sucks. I do like Matt Rule. I think he will build a product in Nebraska, but I'm taking Illinois with the.
All right, Chris, what about you?
I can't disagree 100% about the bottom of the Big Ten. It really is pretty awful. The one thing I will say is Nebraska does run the ball fairly well, and Illinois has not defended the run very well. That being said, I actually agree with Jordan. I think that Illinois beats this one or wins this one. I think Brett Bielema is the difference. Go 24-17 Illinois.
Oh, with a score prediction.
Wow.
Chris, you do all the score predictions. I'll do the covers. You do score because I suck at score predictions. I really do.
All right.
I disagree with you guys. I think Nebraska has a good shot in this game. I think Nebraska is just raring to make their claim, and I think Illinois is. I think they're kind of down after last game, getting their teeth kicked in by Purdue. That was kind of a close game there for a while. I mean, Jordan, wouldn't you agree? Anybody who gets their teeth kicked in by Purdue, like that's not a good situation.
That's an embarrassment.
Yeah.
Embarrassment. Now you got me second guessing my win because I was
never second guess yourself.
In the Nebraska podcast.
That's
Isn't
the
the Nebraska
Sullys.
podcast Scully?
Yeah.
Yes.
Scully.
Sullys.
That's Monsters Inc. I just watched it with my son.
The three
Sully.
Sullys, yeah.
Look, they're our boys. They're our boys because they stick with the TurtleHeads. So I'm changing mine. Let's go Nebraska. Let's go.
I convinced you.
JR persuaded me.
Just say they lost to Purdue, and that convinced you.
Yeah, it ain't hard. It ain't hard.
I think Illinois, in Nebraska, they have, at least last week, they haven't checked this week, last week had the most sacks in the Big Ten. Illinois has given up the most sacks in the Big Ten. I think Nebraska's front is going to really get after them, and I think Luke Altmaier is going to have another game where he's kind of shaky back there, and that defensive line for Illinois is good, but you're only so good to be out there for so long. So I'm going to pick Nebraska 21, Illinois 16. So
let's go. Rye corn, baby. Corn and husk.
There we go. Hey, if you don't know, we are a part of Big Banter Sports, BigBanterSports.com. All three of our podcasts are, so you can go to BigBanterSports.com to get all of your Big Ten media needs. That's where you can head for all of those things. All right, let's get to the next game. Rutgers at Wisconsin. Listen, guys, this is... I declared this the other day. This is like a pseudo Rutgers podcast here because we talk Rutgers all the time. It is kind of like the lifeblood. We have so many Rutgers followers on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it. This game's at noon. It's on the Peacock. Okay. It's going to be one that not many people see. Wisconsin favored by 13. That's disrespectful to Greg Schiano and the Scarlet Knights. I don't like it. Chris, what are your thoughts on this game?
I'll tell you, this one has me torn a little bit. I love me some Greg Schiano, love me some Luke Fickell. Both guys spent some time at Ohio State. Of course, Fick played there. I like what Fickell's got going in Wisconsin. I think Schiano's going to get that Rutgers program turned back around. But right now, I think that Wisconsin just has a little too much talent, specifically in the running game. I'm going to go ahead and take Wisconsin, rather. I'm going to even take them to cover. I'm going 35-24. Wisconsin.
Wow.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with Chris. I think Wisconsin is the better team. I think Greg Schiano it will have Rutgers back. However, JR, do you have the over/under on that game? Is that up?
Here, I can pull up my phone really fast.
Sorry to make you do this.
No, you're fine. I should have wrote that down. The over/under on
unless it's like 10, 44. I'm taking the under because that is going to under all day. That is going to be a Big Ten classic game right there.
Yeah. I got Rutgers winning this one 24-17.
At Wisconsin?
Yes, at Wisconsin. Here's the thing. All right. I know Braylon Allen is really good, but they don't have Ches Malusi anymore. Okay. And call me crazy. I'm not a Tanner Mordecai believer. I don't think Tanner Mordecai is the QB that we thought he was coming in. And I think Phil Longo's kind of struggling a little bit over there. I know they've scored many points and they've done great. But I mean, who have they played? All right. I mean, Maryland, we're going to talk about you guys. Who have you played? They have beaten Purdue, Georgia Southern. They lost to Washington State, which I guess they're good this year because everybody wants to put them in their top 10 or top 15, but they don't want to put Maryland there. I think that's stupid.
Come on.
Buffalo. I mean, they were like tied at halftime with Buffalo. So I don't know. As much as I think Wisconsin is probably, they're okay and they probably will win the West. I think Rutgers is better. I think Rutgers is going to win this game. I think Rutgers is going to finish the year 8-4. And this game is going to be the start of it. I have them winning 24-17.
Did you just say Rutgers is going to finish the year 8-4?
Yeah, we talked about it in the last podcast. Listen, all right.
Whatever you're drinking, I'll take a double, man.
I don't want to do this too long because we did it in the last podcast, but hear me out here, okay? I got to pull this up. I really should just have the Rutgers schedule pulled up on my computer all the time now. Yeah.
I will say that Rutgers game used to, I think the end of the season was going to be a cakewalk. It's got me worried, straight up.
For Maryland?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. All right, here. I'm even going to show you guys.
Can you imagine us going in there 11-0?
I'm even going to show you
going into Rutgers 11-0 and lose that game? Blow our chance at national championship to Rutgers?
Oh, you're 11-0 in that game?
The only way that you're going to go into 11-0 is if Ohio Stadium burns down and the Michigan and Penn State team planes crash.
All right, Chris, since you are the Rutgers hater on this podcast,
I'm
now,
not a Rutgers hater. I love Shiano. I
you
think he's a
picked
great
against
guy.
them. You said Wisconsin was going to cover.
I do
against
think
them.
Wisconsin's going to beat him.
You're a hater. Okay, so we got Wisconsin at Wisconsin. Look, this is 12 o'clock. This is on Peacock. Okay, this isn't a night game. This isn't rowdy Wisconsin crowd. All right, so yeah, sure, I'll give you a toss up. Okay, Chris, but I think they win it. Michigan State.
I think they can win that one.
Right.
Yep.
Okay, Indiana.
Win.
Yeah, I figured Jordan was going to say that. Ohio State?
Loss.
L.
Okay.
Big loss.
All right. Iowa, you really think that Rutgers can beat Iowa?
Rutgers beats Iowa.
Rutgers
There we
I'm
go.
100% convinced.
We're already at 8-4.
Final score 6-3. 6-3.
I
already at 8-4.
don't think they can beat Iowa. I know they can't beat Penn State, and I don't think they can beat Maryland.
Yep. You are a hater, Chris.
What are they at right now? What are they? They're 4-1. I'm with you.
Yep.
They're at least 5. 6.
I look at them.
Wins
Their
right.
last win comes against
I think
Indiana.
JR's right.
Yep.
No, I think JR's right.
I
think
their
JR
last available
I think
win is
Wisconsin.
Indiana.
Their last
You've
win is
persuaded me.
Indiana.
That's their last available win.
Okay. All
That's
right.
their last prayer for a win.
So wait, you think Indiana is a prayer of a win?
No, they're
Oh.
going to beat Indiana.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, but again, Indiana's pretty bad.
All right. Well, Chris, we will just we'll have to have you back here on the podcast when they're 8-4. So will you make that bet with me?
Yes.
So if
Absolutely.
all right, I'll write it down right here. If Rutgers 8-4,
I will come back on here and I will personally apologize
Wilds.
to Greg Schiano if
Well, you got to apologize to our Rutgers listeners.
well, I would do that too.
So
Yes,
like I said,
all three of them.
In fact, I'll come back either way, whether they're 8-4 or not. I can come back and always apologize that they have to root for Rutgers.
well, now you're really a hater, Chris. All right. That's some good Rutgers content. That's what we needed today. Let's move on to yeah, because that's they always talk about the algorithm on YouTube and what gets you the most the most listens. It's Rutgers content.
That's it. Rutgers, baby.
Hey, got to play up to that New York market,
Exactly.
New York, New Jersey market.
All right, Chris, your favorite team we're going to talk about next: Michigan versus Maryland. Right. All right.
Minnesota.
Minnesota.
I said Maryland.
Minnesota.
Minnesota.
I think Minnesota's what, a 19-point dog?
Yeah, so this is actually the same line as Maryland and Ohio State, which I think is wild. Yeah, so Saturday, 7:30, NBC. It's the night game. It's prime time. Michigan's favored by 19. What are your thoughts here, Chris?
As much as I despise that team up north, Minnesota has just not been what we expected this year. I don't want to take Michigan, but logically I've got to take Michigan, and I got to take them 38-14.
Wow,
38's right about in that wheelhouse where they've been scoring.
Yeah,
even though they've been playing the Little Sisters of the Poor.
But you think 14? You think Minnesota has enough offense to get to 14, or you think it's the back?
Well, I figure JJ will throw another pick six.
Oh, okay. They're going to pull TCU on them, huh?
Yep.
Yeah. Jordan, what do you think?
JR, I'm trying to pull something up here.
Okay.
I'm trying. I don't see it anywhere. Could you find me a first half spread in this game?
First half spread? I will look.
Yeah, I'm getting real deep. I'm getting deep on boy. Deep tracks.
All right.
Jordan's looking
stall while you
for
look it
top
up.
bets next.
Stall while I look it up.
Yes. All right. So why you do it? So here's my thought process. Minnesota's terrible. Michigan's supposedly in competition for a national championship. Ain't played Maryland yet, but we won't talk about that. But tell me why prime time I could see this game being like a 7-point Michigan favor going into the half, right? But then, of course, they go away winning tremendously at the end.
Well, that's what Michigan does every week.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. That it's going to get all these people's hypes up about Minnesota. What's it? This pod? That's the Gopher pod, I think.
Yeah.
The Ski U pod?
Yeah. Yep. So, but anyway, here they all come. Here comes TurtleHeads. But anyway, there it is. So, did you get that looked up, JR, or no?
I'm looking it up. I don't see anything for a first half spread.
Well, whatever it
There's
is.
a number of props here, but
Whatever it is, listeners, take it. Take the first half spread, Minnesota with a point.
I will say Michigan has not been that way this year as much as they have in the past. Like last year, Michigan fans were kind of giving me some crap on Twitter because we only beat Notre Dame by 3 points, and we're gonna be embarrassed and only beat Maryland by a touchdown or lose. And I was like, you guys literally beat Maryland by a touchdown last year. Like, that's how is that embarrassing for it to happen to us when they're undefeated and you did it? I don't know, but I'm with you, Chris. I am an Ohio State fan. I don't like to pick Michigan to win, but I will have to pick them here 38-10. Probably Blake Corum or somebody will get 3 touchdowns, and then they'll have a new Heisman hopeful over there. So, all right, let's move on to Jordan's favorite team of all time. We have Purdue versus Iowa. Ooh, this is going to be a gross game. Purdue versus Iowa. Jordan, what are your thoughts here?
That's all. That's all I got to say. Iowa. I'm not talking about the Dolphins.
Chris, you have any thoughts here?
Kinnick is an awful tough place to play. You know what? And Purdue is just not. They're just not. You know what? I'm going to take, even though Iowa's offense might even be worse than it was last year, if that's at all possible, I'm still going to take Iowa in this one, 28-21.
28-21?
I'm going to catch some grief here. I'm going to catch some grief. How long has Iowa's coach been in Iowa? Help me out. Y'all are Big Ten lifers.
1999, I think.
Well, let me tell you, he's been coaching though since the original game in Rutgers.
Well, no. Here's my question. It's a serious question.
He was on the sidelines.
Is he on a hot seat or no?
I'll tell you what. He's on a hot seat more so, I think, because he hasn't fired his son than he is for his record.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, he puts up wins. You can't take that away from him. He puts up wins, but I feel like it's every year thing. Iowa's offense is just terrible. Walt Bell's available, by the way.
Well, it didn't always used to be terrible. It's like, COVID happened and then, the offense just got terrible after that. I mean, I'm not trying to say it was, good,
for all the Iowa,
it was ever great.
All the Iowa fans, I watched Talia's second year in College Park play Iowa, all hyped up. We were like 3-0, played Iowa. They destroyed us. So there you go.
Oh, their defense is no joke. Their defense is never a joke.
Chris, I don't leave games early. I've sat through miserable game. That game we left at halftime, that was the most embarrassing thing I've ever been part of my life.
What year was that?
That was like 2019, 20. Like, COVID's got me all in a fog. It's somewhere around, I can't remember if it's post-COVID or pre-COVID. No. It was definitely, Talia was playing. So whatever.
21.
It was Talia's freshman year or sophomore year. Yeah, there you go. Right after COVID.
Yuck.
What was the final score?
Put up 51 on you.
51?
Yeah, what did we score?
That's more points than the offense scored last season.
Yeah, you
did
had
we 14. Score 7? Yeah, and I'm pretty sure wasn't like 30 points in the first half. If first quarter is like something crazy.
I don't have the box score. Let me try and look it up here.
Dude, it was miserable. Like I said, I don't leave anything big. Don't erase it from your memory. We're still trying to do it. That's why. And I got news for you. Every time, not to talk basketball on a football show, every time Maryland basketball walks into Frank McCaffrey's doghouse, dude, we just lay an egg, and Iowa can't miss. I don't know what it is with Maryland and Iowa.
Yeah, Iowa, they're a weird one because that same year, the highest point total they put up besides you guys was 34 on Indiana.
I'm pretty sure Talia threw like 2 pick sixes in like the first 2 drive.
You know what? I got the box score right here. Let's, we thought this was previewing week 6 of 2023, but we're actually just looking back at 2021 random Iowa versus Maryland game.
This date in history. This date in history. There it was. 34 points in the first half.
34-7. Yep.
Chris, do you understand why I left early now?
Nope.
Oh, and Spencer Petras. Yuck.
Maybe the thing is that Iowa just needs another rival, so they're looking for an official rivalry with you. Because they've only got, 8 protected rivalries right now or something like that?
Okay, so
shout out. Doesn't that?
Oh, sorry.
Talia had 5
Baby
interceptions.
TT.
No, you're good.
Baby
yes, he was
TT.
definitely baby TT that week. 5 picks.
He's 16 for 29, 157 yards, 2 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Wow. Okay, Spencer Petras, though, had 21 for 30, 259 yards, 3 touchdowns. Here's what we're going to do next. Was this the best game Spencer Petras ever had in college?
Definitely the most efficient.
All right. So if we're going by, what do we want to go by? Yards, touchdowns? Oh, no. Okay. So the first game he started, you'll like this, Jordan. The first game he started, 22 for 39, 265 yards, 3 touchdowns. Can you guess who it was against?
Ohio State.
No.
Purdue.
At Purdue.
Let's go.
So I got you some more ammunition there.
What is your problem with Purdue? Come on, man.
All right, this is for all the people out there. This is for all the AWLs, the big banner. And AWLs, everybody know what that is, right? Award-winning listener. It's very simple. Unlike Indiana, LEO love each other. We'll talk about that on another day.
That's just creepy.
As everybody heads have a lot of mouth, and we have nothing to back it up. We won a national championship like 1954. However, we're here for a good time, not a long time. Purdue, the Boilermaker podcast, they do not like us. And we don't know why. We just want to make up. We've asked them to do, JR, we've asked them to do a joint podcast.
I know.
They won't do it.
We're good guys. You want me and Eric to play Peacemaker for you guys? We're going over to Purdue here in a couple weeks.
We got to do that thing where we invite them on, but they don't know you're coming on, and then you ambush them when they come on.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah, that's what we'll have to do.
Next on the Jerry Springer Show.
Yes.
That's with the Big Ten Huddle. Okay, all right.
Just to settle this, Purdue, your daddy is the TurtleHeads.
All right. Just to settle this once and for all, okay, I'm going to read you the full stat line of Spencer Petras. His 2 best games of all time was against Purdue and was against Maryland. All right, so the Purdue game at Purdue, okay, 22 of 39, 265 yards. Oh, no touchdown passes. How did I mess that up? No touchdown passes, 3 attempts, rushing, 1 touchdown. All right, they lost that game. Against Maryland, 21 for 30, 259 yards, 3 touchdown passes, 2 rushing touchdowns, and they won. Better game against Purdue or Maryland?
Well, they beat Maryland, so it'd be a better game.
Yeah. Yep. Sorry, Jordan. I think Spencer Petras had his. I think he had his greatest game of all time against you in 2021.
That's what we do. But Kyle McCord will not have his greatest game come Saturday.
Kyle McCord goes over 300 yards Saturday.
Would that be his first time going over 300 yards, Chris?
I think probably since I don't know if he did it against Akron or not, but
oh, that's right.
You know
he did
what?
Start that one game.
Yeah, you know what? Akron, Maryland, it's all kind of the same.
Western Kentucky, he had 318. He had 318 against Western Kentucky. So, all right. I know everybody is dying for us to get to this last game. It's been the talk of the podcast.
Hey, this one's close to my heart, man.
Yeah. Howard at Northwestern. Chris.
That's not prime time. That's not on the cop.
3 o'clock.
This one's so big you don't even have a point spread out there yet.
Yeah. They're afraid.
I'll tell you, I miss me some Patty Fitz, but you know what?
What's the spread?
There isn't one out yet. They're literally Vegas has not put a spread on this game. It's that bad. Just because it's at Evanston, I'm going to go ahead and take Northwestern. I'm going to take Northwestern, but I think it's going to be close, 28-21.
Do you all know where Howard's at, right?
Nope.
It's in the greatest state ever. It's in Maryland. Let's go. Ride those bison, baby. Let's ride.
See, So you're choosing Howard to beat Northwestern.
You know what? I wouldn't put it out of the realm of possibility.
Okay, so Chris, better chance on Saturday. Howard beats Northwestern or Maryland beats Ohio State?
Oh, Howard beats Northwestern.
Okay.
That's not even close.
Okay. I got Northwestern winning 42 to 10.
I'm letting them talk it up.
Hey, I'm feeling it. And as the nature boy said, I'm having a hard time keeping these alligators down right now. That's how pumped up I am.
Woo! All right. Well, we have previewed all of the games here for you. Chris, you got any final thoughts before we get out of here?
You know what? I just look forward to being 5-0 and being undefeated when we roll into Ann Arbor. That's all I'm going to say. I'm going to leave it at that.
And ahead of the Terps in the power rankings, that too?
Well, that is a nice bonus.
Yeah. All right. Jordan, you got anything else to add before we get out of here?
Thank you for letting me get the last mic. You're not going to like us when we're bad. You're definitely not going to like us when we're good. As Dion says,
gonna be good.
We ain't coming. We here.
Yeah,
Saturday, big
really
noon
well
kickoff. And as
All
Russell Wilson said, let's ride.
All right. Thanks so much for our guests coming on and previewing the games here. You can catch them at the TurtleHeads podcast, and you can catch them at the OHIO podcast. Big Ten Huddle is brought to you by Big Banter Sports, BigBanterSports.com. Please do go there and check it out. We will be back on Sunday or on Monday morning to recap all of the Week 6 games, hopefully talking about some Maryland, Ohio State fun times to get into.
Wait, before we go, one thing, JR.
Yes.
OH.
IO. Do you guys have a cool little saying? Maryland?
Yeah. Go Terps, baby. Terps roll. Roll Terps.
All right. Roll Terps. See you, everybody.